What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I have a gear review on the Revgear Original Muay Thai Training Gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, and today this review will be near and dear to my heart as Revgear is one of my top 5 favorite brands of all time, and they're one of the oldest brands I've been familiar with, as when I started MMA at 14 years old, which was 14 years ago. I'm 28 now. I think I did the math right. Revgear was the very first pair of shin guards I ever tried on, one of the very first real pair of MMA gloves I ever tried on, and I also had a pair of Revgear Muay Thai gloves way back then. I beat them up for years before I gave them away to someone at my boxing club, and that was before I really started to basically hoard all my gloves, and I still do now. Some of them I've retired and they're not used anymore since I was a kid, but somehow they improved the design as well, and they've changed it up a little bit. I got these about 5 months ago. I've done the break-in video a couple months after I got them, but I tell you what, I never loved to give reviews away so much at the beginning, but this for sure nowadays is my favorite Muay Thai glove. It just checks every box for me. They're enjoyable to use and I absolutely love them. Plus, you guys have been asking me for a long time to do more Muay Thai glove reviews, and remember, I unboxed all those different Muay Thai gloves, these being one of them, I'm pretty sure. If not, I got them soon after, and all those reviews are going to be coming out over the next week after this review drops. But I wanted to review this one first because I got a lot of questions about these, and I just think the overly positive reviews that we see about these shows you how great they are, and I think these are a super underrated Muay Thai glove out there, and I absolutely love them. And I think they're so good because you think about the history of Revgear, which I always love to tell you the history of each brand. Back in 1996, I want to say his name was Paul Revlins or something along those lines. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but I know his first name was Paul. Was a martial artist who basically wanted to make the best martial arts gear he could at a very high quality. And that's basically been Revgear's slogan for years, is that they are some of the highest quality stuff ever. And they're one of the OG MMA brands, if you really think about it. I think when they first started in 96, they were actually just called Revgear California, and you saw guys like Marco Huas, who was, I think, really the first guy to really use Revgear like that, who was a UFC champion, UFC 7 tournament winner, 7 or 8, I can't remember. Those are the real, like 1 through 10 I can remember, but I want to say he was 7 or 8 champion, and he was a freak back then. You saw guys like Boss Rutan use Revgear heavy bags in his videos. You can actually go online and see those, and those Muay Thai gloves he was using were Revgear gloves because he was training in California where Revgear started. So you also had guys like Eric Paulson, who was a world-renowned coach and a freak grappler. Most of the MMA gloves and boxing equipment that you see them use, he's tested everything at his gym, CSW Fullerton. Same thing for most of his, like all the grappling dummies and stuff were actually designed by Eric himself along with Revgear. A guy like Mark Delagrate, who worked very closely with my coach, who coached Matt Hamill back in the day. My coach did Duff Holmes, and he actually, Duff brought a lot of Revgear stuff to the gym and sold it there for a while because Mark said this is the best stuff that you're going to use. And to my knowledge, Mark still uses Revgear for the most part. So very much an OG brand. I feel like a lot of people are using them. Shane from Fight Tips uses it now. A lot of other guys, what's his name? I don't really watch this stuff so much, but he's been on a bunch of, he's in like the Myrtle Beach area. Hard to Hurt. I want to say his name's Hard to Hurt. He's a short guy, bald with a beard, owns a like kickboxing club or something like that. Did Street Beast before. He uses and is sponsored by Revgear. Henry Cejudo was sponsored by Revgear for a bit too. So a lot of really big names have used Revgear, and a few today that use them. You know, you see a lot of it. I've seen Kamaru Usman use Revgear stuff before too, but they've been around for a long time and they're not going to go anywhere. They also make some really high-end heavy bags as well too, made right in the USA, custom order to you, which I think is great. Sorry about the little skip in the video. I try and do one takes all the time, but my battery died. I had to swap it out. So now that I got the history of Revgear out of the way, let's go ahead and go into the exact model I have for you for your reference throughout the video. As you can see here, I got the white coloration. This is the leather version of the glove, as there is a synthetic leather version. And I got them in 16 ounces, and they are in hook and loop Velcro closure. And if you're looking to get a lace-up model of this glove, unfortunately, they are not available from what I've seen on the website, though I do wish that they had a lace-up version, because some people, even in Muay Thai, do prefer the lace-ups compared to the Velcro, so you don't scrape and cut people. The thing is, it's just I find in Muay Thai, and especially in MMA, people prefer hook and loop Velcro because it's just so much easier to swap between gloves if you're going to. Also, a lot of guys will just like to put it on themselves instead of having 8 people tie their stuff for them. I think Revgear's only 2 models that have lace up are the S4 and the professional fight gloves they have, although the name of that model escapes me. As for the sizes you can get for this glove, you can get them in 12, 14, and 16, so your core 3 sizes, but 16 works plenty for me because I'm a heavyweight weighing about 255 pounds right now, and they fit my hand just fine. And the nice part about Revgear is that although it has that classic Thai fit, and it does have a bit more of a compact hand compartment to, say, bigger Western style gloves, it still has a relatively larger hand compartment. I'd say similar to like a Twins. I'd say to a Twins or to a Fairtex, kind of a fatter hand compartment is what I'd say. I'd say closer to a Twins than a Fairtex. Again, 12, 14, and 16 ounces, you get them, and they have tons of different colors, but more of your bright, vibrant colors, like they have orange, green, and pink, I believe. Those are your synthetic leather colors, and the glove at that point, I think, is about $10 to $20 cheaper. That goes for like 99 bucks, whereas these go for about 110 if memory serves. But in this case, I got the leather finish, and I believe the leather colors are white like this, black, red, and blue. Don't quote me on the blue, but I will post all the colors across the screen for your reference, as I always do. But again, when we come to the exact model throughout this review, I got them in the white coloration, 16-ounce hook and loop closure, and that again is all that's available is hook and loop. So you still have some pretty nice variety when it comes to the glove. Now, when we come to the look of the glove, again, we have that really awesome Arctic white color. It is just basic as it gets, but that new Revgear logo, I do miss the old one sometimes, but as you can see here in black letteration, it says Revgear right there, and it says original underneath, and that's the original line there, you know, because they're sticking to everything. And it says quality assured Revgear, made in Thailand. So this glove, yes, was actually 100% handcrafted in Bangkok, Thailand, which is cool because there's some, you know, original Thai gloves that weren't actually made in Thailand. So it wouldn't be an authentic Thai glove, I guess you could say, if it wasn't made in Thailand. But again, that white really looks nice. And what's nice about this white paint, or the dye, I should say, it doesn't chip or fray at all compared to some other whites that I've seen. You can see here that we have a web thumb that it's also white, and the thumb itself is white as well. But when we go over to the palm, that's where we get the really cool clash of color. Black and white always goes together no matter what, right? And when we open this up, you can see here we have a black interior hand compartment, but the laces are, stitching is also black, as I'm looking at the other glove here. Whoa, just smacked the camera there. Sorry about that. The piping on the palm, I'll go ahead and open that up for you, is white, so you have that really nice white-black connection going on here. And then the wrist cuff itself, except for the, of course, the hook and loop patch, is all white as well, but the actual Velcro patch itself is black, as most of them always are. We go ahead and go to the actual cuff here, and you can see here we got the Revgear bear. That's always been a part of their designs because, of course, California, the California flag has a bear on it. It says established 96, Revgear original, and it has the red and black design along with the white letteration going there, again with the new Revgear design, which is cool. And then on the side, just to prove to you, I got 16 ounces, it says it right there. When we open the glove up, the interior lining itself is black, which is very stylish. And there is a tag on the inside that says, I've never actually read it, and it's kind of curled, made in Thailand. Okay, so let's see if I can figure this out for the camera angle, because I like for you to see everything so you know what you're getting. Maybe, maybe not. You might not be able to. I'm trying. Maybe just take my word for it. Made in Thailand. It blurred out, didn't it? but I tried. So that's what you got going on there as far as the look of the glove goes. Now we come into the build of the glove. We talk about the outer shell being made out of a very nice top grain leather. I would say it's full grain, but I don't see a lot of the natural grain marks, and it is lighter than most full grain leathers. Top grain leather, guys, is still basically the best quality you can get. Just to basically imagine this. Full grain is right off the cow, and they take it for what it is, and they tan it, right? It basically means there's no imperfections, right? But what they do with top grain to make it all uniform consistency, they just shave the top grain of the leather off, and that's why it's all smooth and consistent. And that's basically what we have here. You still see, like, you do see some grainage going on, and that's basically what you're going to get. I've never used that term before, grainage, dude. But that's basically what we got going on here. But it's one uniform, really smooth leather out of shell, and it's very nice leather too, and it smells just like a lot of other clean quality leathers. And for me, and this is just because I'm kind of weird, I guess, because I do like leather products like coats and stuff like that. Top grain leather just has a bit of a cleaner scent to it because it's all that one uniform type deal, whereas full grain has that more earthy scent to it, but it still has that really nice clean leather wallet scent, or like a brand new belt scent to it, and it feels nice on the hand. And it's a soft, supple leather, and there's still a good chunk of it over the actual glove itself. As you can see here, we got a good amount that we can pull off, which means you can get more stitching through a thick material, which is great. And of course, it being a bit of a softer leather and it's not so tight to the padding itself, it allows the padding to breathe a little bit so it doesn't get smushed down too quickly. Now, when we talk about the padding, we have multi-layered foam padding, which is your standard tie padding, but I will say it is a lot more protective than virtually any tie glove I could recommend to you, if I'm honest, because it doesn't feel like the standard padding. I can definitely tell there's still a little bit of latex on the inside and EVA foam at the base, but you have more of a traditional boxing glove padding on the inside that is much more soft. So you have medium and high density foams are out there to really protect you. And for me, it feels like a Japanese style glove in a tie shape. And you can actually hear the air leave it when you push the leather, the air out of the leather and the padding itself. But it's very, very soft padding, and it's very thick padding for a tie glove compared to some other tie gloves. Again, I would compare the padding to, say, a Twins, but for me, it's a lot more shock absorbing because of the way it's fit. It's also a bit more of a rounded top, as you can see here. It's not very flat like some other tie gloves will be. It's a lot more rounded this way, so I'm able to really have that distance between my knuckles and the point of impact. So I'd say when my hand's on the inside, I'd say there's a good maybe 2 inches of padding separating your target from your actual knuckles, plus your hand wraps if you're being safe. So the padding, again, is that multi-layered foam that we have on the inside here. Very, very soft and plush, and it breaks in almost immediately. When you first get out of the box, it's going to be a little stiff, a little hard, but after about 3 or 4 rounds on the heavy bag, it breaks in like a cinch, and it's awesome. When we talk about the thumb, you have that same molded foam here, and for me, I'd have to assume, because you can see where it cuts off, this is one solid mold that we have here. Obviously, it's multi-layers, but it's one solid hand mold. The thumb's part of that too, so it feels identical to the knuckles as well. It's a little bit firmer naturally because you want your thumb to be in a nice spot, and you're obviously not going to be smashing your thumb as much, so this is not going to break in as much as the other part of the hand. However, because it's a tie glove, you will notice that this thumb is going on the outside. This is so you are able to open up easier for clinch, and obviously in a tie glove you are going to clinch a lot. However, I'll talk about this more down the line. If you were to use this for strictly boxing, I think it's similar to Twins. A lot of people use Twins, like Manny Pacquiao actually used to use Twin Special. This is a great option for boxing if you don't mind that it has a shorter wrist cuff. That's why I wish there was a lace-up model. I think boxers would love this glove. But again, with that thumb, very, very nice and protective. And the wrist, actually, for a shorter wrist on a tie glove is very, very well made. I'll go ahead and I'll open that up. As you can see here, we have the average split that you get with most tie gloves, and there isn't a whole ton of padding, but the wrist does have very stiff EVA foam, so it locks onto your wrist more. And I can't remember the exact name of it. I think they call it the cross lock when it comes to the actual wrist strap. But you have a pretty thick wrist strap compared to some other tie gloves out there, and it wraps on the outside instead of directly in here, so it cinches to your wrist really nice and tight. And when you cinch it, what's nice is, like a lot of other tie gloves that are doing this now, you're able to kind of take it up a little higher. Let me try that. Right up there. So it cinches on that part of your wrist, where it's kind of flapping. The other part is that the bottom part of the wrist is pretty rigid, so you're able to curve down for your clinch, but notice how it's not allowing me to like curve in the actual wrist support itself. Obviously, you know, no matter what happens, I'm pretty strong, so I'm going to be able to fold that down like this, but when I let go of the wrist, it snaps right back. So it's going to naturally keep your wrist from going down or up too much. It's going to be in a nice natural punch position, which is always what you want when it comes to a good solid punch, which is always awesome. And then of course, when we talk about the palm, like most Thai gloves, you can see here that we have that really nice padding on the side to catch kicks. The inside of the thumb is pretty padded, and the thumb piping itself is really loose, so you're able to nice and open easily, so it's not tight on the inside. That's actually super uncomfortable, something that gloves mess up all the time. It'll be too tight on the inside here. And the grip bar is also very comfortable. I'd say it's about as soft as the padding that you have on the actual top of the knuckles. The other part about this is since it's made in Thailand, most Thai gloves have the vented palm. And as you can see here, we have the vented palm not only at the top of the glove here, but we have it in the middle. The idea is the country of Thailand is very, very humid. My teammate Hugo, he's from France, but he trained in Thailand for like 3 months. And he said it's very humid and it's almost never not raining. It's always raining, even a light drizzle here or there. And he said your gear needs to be well ventilated, because if you don't take it out of your bag and let it sit in front of a fan or the air conditioner, he said it would be soaked as if you never did anything with it, which is crazy. But he said a lot of guys in Thailand had gloves that had the palm with the vent in the center, so it would air out a lot easier, which that's really where the vented palm originated, actually was Thailand, if memory serves. But now people in the States and other brands use that because, again, some guys just don't take their stuff out. So at least if you leave it in your gym bag overnight, it will air out just slightly. But again, closed off space, is it going to air out that much? No, it won't. But when we go ahead and talk about the interior lining now, okay, we can see here that like a lot of other Thai gloves, we have that leather inside here. And again, it feels more like a synthetic leather at the base, but the rest of it is a really nice stretched nylon, and it is nice and moisture wicking. When I go ahead and put the glove on for the fit and feel, it is just one of the most comfortable fits I've ever had for a Thai glove. You have tons of room on the back of your hand and your knuckles to give a really good solid wrap if you needed it, but the padding is so thick that it feels just nice and protected on your hands. The other part about it is when I strap this up tight, it's not going anywhere. This is one of the better wrist straps I've used in a Thai glove, and again, I'm able to curve down really easy when it comes to trying to get my clinch, and it opens perfectly. The grip that you get in these, as an MMA fighter, pro MMA fighter, I like to grab, we do big glove MMA sparring, I like to grapple in these. I've been able to get things like double wrist locks, or a Cremora for you, or top wrist lock, Americana. I've been able to get chin whips in these. I've been able to get perfect double and single legs with these. So overall, the grip is awesome, whether it's on the back of my hand, back of my head, my arm, grabbing wrist control. Overall, really, really great grips. And it's just a comfortable interior hand compartment, and it doesn't get too hot because you have that vented palm, which is absolutely awesome. I cannot feel the outlines of my knuckles. So if you want a puncher's glove, they're not really a puncher's glove. They are much more of a pillow glove in my opinion, but they are light and they are forward punching, and that is one of my favorite things on the planet. I am able to just let my hands go when it comes to these, and they do weigh around the 16 ounce mark. I think the left one was like 15.8 and the right one was about 16.1, which happens constantly, but still for me, they're going to change because of the way that they absorb sweat. They're going to change because of what you're using them with. You know, weight fluctuates with gloves regardless. You're never going to have anything that's, even the greatest brands out there are not going to be dead on, so I don't always weigh it, but I really wanted to make sure that these were 16, and they're just about there, but you're able to really just whip these forward, and on top of it, they're big enough to where you're really able to practice defense. They feel like a boxing glove in protective qualities, but they have the nice, light, forward punching style of a Thai glove, and they're a little bit thicker too. Really easy to catch kicks too, especially with that padding there, compared to some other padding out there on the side of the hand. That's actually really plush. What I like about the grip bar too in this glove is that you almost feel like there's like beads in the palm, almost in that grip bar area. It feels nice, similar to Yokow, which I absolutely love. Overall, love the feel of these gloves. They are absolutely awesome, but let's go ahead and go into the bag work, and then we'll come back with my final thoughts. These gloves are incredibly light on your hands, although they weigh dead on 16 ounces, but what I love is that they give you that feeling of unlimited energy when it comes to bag work, especially with straight punches. I feel like I'm able to just let my hands go and go and go without stopping. They have the best protective quality out of any Thai glove I've really tried, in my opinion. They give you that winning-like feel in a Thai glove, which is absolutely awesome. The closest closest tie glove I can think that compares in padding would be Twins. But for me, the wrist support, the knuckle support's awesome. You got tons of room on the inside to wrap your hands up big if you need to. Overall, very safe for bags, pads, and you're even able to give it to your sparring partners just a little bit more because of the padding quality. When it comes to the look of the Revgear original tie gloves, for me, whenever I see a solid white glove with a logo across, it just screams professional for me. Same thing with the other colors available like black and red. Those are the most common professional gloves out there as far as color goes, and they just pop out really well. Nothing's too fancy, but it screams Revgear is basic, but they always got you covered, and that's why I love Revgear. All right, folks, so my final verdict here for the Revgear original Muay Thai training gloves is I absolutely love them. And like I said, I don't like to give things away at the beginning of the review all the time, but if I feel strongly about it, I'm going to tell you these have taken my spot as my #1 favorite Thai glove that I've tried, especially out of that group that I unboxed, and those reviews are coming soon. These are just awesome because of their protective qualities. They are very well made. Everything I've tried by Revgear lasts a long time, and I've had them for over 5 months, and I've used these a lot. And they haven't smushed, they haven't creased, they haven't shown any signs of wear. They're still lasting. And like I said, those Revgear shin guards I had from the age of 14 till I was 22, guys, I only stopped using because someone stole them at an amateur MMA event because they were that good. I was devastated when I lost them. Everything I've tried by Revgear is absolutely awesome, and it lasts forever, and that's one thing I love about it. But let's go ahead and go into the things that I like about the glove, some things I would change, and then we'll go into my final rating on the glove here. And first and foremost, the things I like about it, I just named a few, but let's start out with the protective qualities. If you want to try a Thai glove that will work for any combat sport, whether it be boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, this is the glove I would recommend to you. It is similar to Twins, and I know Twins is hard to get in the United States sometimes because they're not able to sell to the US all the time. You have to go through third-party retailers. Revgear's right here. This was made in Thailand, but they are a US-based brand, and they're very proud of that. And they also have the best customer service on top of it. So if you find something wrong with the glove, reach out to them. They're awesome with helping you out. Trust me, they will make sure that they correct any mistake that they made. But trust me, those are few and far between when you have a brand as reputable as Revgear. The other part about Revgear and these gloves is the quality. Revgear stuff is just built to last, and that's the one thing I love about this. Nothing that they make is overly fancy. It doesn't have all the fancy designs to it, but they do the job better than most out there. The protective qualities on these gloves too is absolutely outstanding. These have protected my knuckles, wrist, thumb, everything more than some boxing gloves that swore that they were the best protective gloves that you'll ever try. I would say, and maybe people are going to think I'm way too overzealous about this, I would say the padding feels more protective than, say, a winning glove. I'd say they're right on par with like the T3 as far as the overall protection, but they have that really plush pillow style to them, and they are absolutely awesome. And out of any Thai glove I've tried, again, Twins is probably the closest to protection in this, but I think because it's rounded off and it's very thick and it has that nice plush pillow give to it, it is absolutely awesome. Whenever I hit the bags, whenever I spar in these, they are just so forgiving on the hands, and it's absolutely awesome. So if you have brittle hands, these are a great Thai glove to look into. If you were ever to ask me what Thai glove protects the knuckles more, my answer will now be the Revgear Thai Original does the best job for me personally. And I'll go into the other Thai gloves I'm going to review over the next week and a half here. You'll see my reasoning behind that as well. Because more traditional Thai gloves are not necessarily made like that. We'll just word it that way. They're comfortable too. They're very easy to clean. They do not take a lot of maintenance, which is always a good plus sign for me. And that always speaks to the quality that you have of the glove. And on top of it, they have options as far as sizing goes compared to some other Thai gloves out there. But 12, 14, and 16 ounces is usually your go-to, and that's what you got going on here. The leather's really well, but they also have synthetic leather models, which is always great for people that want more of a vegan option, which is more common nowadays, I find. And I do appreciate that they do that, and they are a little less expensive. They have the same exact build. It's just a different outer shell. That's about it. So those are the things I really love about the glove. There's plenty of room if you need to wrap your hands up too. So if you like to wrap your hands up, I think the glove does a good enough job. I don't always train with hand wraps, and some people might be like, why don't you do that? It's just my hands don't really have issues like that. But for me, I had a teammate try these out for a few days. She's like, I can't believe how padded they are. Revgear is just very well known for their knuckle protection, we'll word it that way. And it wouldn't surprise me too. I doubt it, but it wouldn't surprise me if they had some type of gel padding in there. But again, I doubt it because I don't feel that at all. But those foams in there are just nice and solid, and they're not breaking down at all. And on top of it, these are great gloves for everything. If you want to spar in them, hit the bags, pads, they're great for everything, and they don't break down. But I wouldn't shock me if you had a really high-level guy that wants to use these, you know, one pair for bags, one pair for sparring. I think they're great. They're a great sparring glove. They really are. And they're really well made. I think a lot of boxers would actually benefit from using these, but I think because of the branding of Revgear, they're seen more of a kickboxing MMA brand that boxers just won't use them. But I would recommend boxers to try these out. Some things I would change about the glove, there's not really a lot that I would change, to be honest. And I know the last few reviews have been like, oh, I wouldn't change much, you know, this rating and this rating. But it's true when it comes to these. I guess I would say that if you don't like an overly padded glove, this might not be the glove for you, but I won't take points off for that because that's just the way the glove was designed for, and I don't see anything wrong with it because of safety, right? If it's a safety concern, then I would take points off for it. But no, you're able to move your hands fine. It protects you, your sparring partners, pads, bags, everything just fine, and it's very versatile. So if you don't like an overly puffy glove, you may want to look elsewhere. Or if you like a glove that has more of that give like a puncher's gloves, which trust me, I do too. I love puncher's gloves, but these are one of the exceptions I make when it comes to pillow gloves, where I still get a pretty good jolt when it comes to the bag. I still feel it, but I definitely feel like the shock is just gone when I punch. So if you need that puncher's feel, or if you don't like a really puffy glove, this may not be the glove for you, and that's all I would say about that. But I won't really take any points off for that. Other than that, I would say if you don't feel like you can take care of leather either, then just get the synthetic leather version. I will say that the padding does bubble a little bit, you know, but that's normal for most high gloves, or just gloves in general. I'm trying to see where it was. There's like one spot. There it is on the thumb. And you can see it in the very far corner right there, a little tiny bubble. But hey, that's on the thumb and not even the padding itself, which is... I mean, after 5 months of hammering these things, these have been in my hands a lot. These were one of my main gloves. These and the Maestro Boxeo gloves a lot. And a lot of the other Thai gloves were on my hands virtually every day when it came to my last fight camp. Again, the fight didn't go my way, whatever happens. But these have been on there, especially for my hard sparring days, because I knew it would keep my sparring partners protected and would keep my hands and wrists nice and solid too. So with that said, guys, what would my... final verdict or my actual rating for these gloves be? Well, for me personally, I am going to give them a solid 10 out of 10 for every combat sport that I can think of. When it comes to MMA and Muay Thai, I think these would be your go-to. I put them in the S tier, excellent gloves. They are absolutely outstanding for those sports. Now, if we were talking about strictly boxing, okay, and I am factoring that in because I want boxers to hear this too, I'd still give them a solid 8 out of 10 and put them in the A tier as a great glove, and here's why. Are they going to do the same thing that you want them to do as your like overly long cuffs on your wrist? Probably not, because, you know, it's still a short wrist cuff, and for boxers, that just screams death sentence to their wrists. So they're probably not going to pay that any mind. But I think if you're doing MMA or kickboxing or Muay Thai, I think this is a phenomenal glove for you. They will last you for as long as you need them to last you, and you can go and look at the hundreds of reviews that you can see on these gloves on their website and on different forums. Everyone almost always says to pick Revgear, which is absolutely awesome. The grips are great. The protective qualities are absolutely out of this world for this glove. And overall, I just think they do a better job than most Thai gloves I've tried. And I've tried a lot of them, and especially over the last few months when I did the unboxing of all those. And yes, I hear you guys. I will do a top 10 Muay Thai glove list sometime, hopefully before the end of the year. I still have some other Thai gloves I want to give a shot with. There's a lot of new Thai brands that are coming out left, right, and center that have been taking precedent over everybody. But I got like 5 more I got to do after this video alone. So that's half a list there, I'm sure. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if you try these gloves out, you enjoy them as much as I have. That's always my goal. is to just give you every amount of information I can so you can make an informed decision if you are to go through with this. Of course, if I missed anything or if I didn't answer your question, comment below and I will respond to it as fast as I can. And if I don't respond to it there, follow me on my social media pages. I'm usually active on Instagram for the most part. Send me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to answer any questions about these. I even had a lot of comments on these gloves in particular, and a lot of people that follow Revgear as well say that they've had the same gloves for years, and they said the same things I have. But again, I've been using Revgear since I was 14. I'm 28 now. So again, comment below. Let me know if I missed anything or if you have any questions. And of course, what you want to see reviewed next. Follow me. I already said that, my fault. I get confused at the end sometimes, folks. But anyway, like this video and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get alerted for reviews just like these. And if you have a friend looking for some new gear, send them this video and see if these gloves are for them or if they can find anything else on my channel. With that said, guys, thank you so much for choosing your source of combat sports, the Combat Corporation. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.